Bundy pinned his man one time with a 3 count, dropped an elbow on him, and pinned him again for a 5 count.
He told the referee keep counting.
Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another edition of 5 Count, my top 5 takeaways. Normally it's from Raw, SmackDown, or Dynamite, but I got a special 5 count edition for you tonight. Tonight, coming off the heels of what I thought was one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen, night 2. We're going to take a look back at the reign of the Tribal Chief. So tonight's top 5 will be top 5 moments from Roman's reign. All right, here we go. So my number 5 moment is he is a ratings draw. So Roman Reigns had this shirt made called the Needle Mover, and it was absolutely true. You rarely saw him, but when you saw him, the ratings on whatever show he was on jumped up. I mean, like by the hundreds of thousands. The demo went all the way up. It's undeniable that this guy's presence, whenever he came on the stage, whenever he came, and literally the majority of what he was doing was just promos. He rarely would get into any physical contact on the show, but through his 1,316 days as champion, Roman Reigns has solidified himself as a top ratings draw. Like him or not, and a lot of people low-key like him, and they try to act like they hate him. I love Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns from his Shield days. I loved him from the time Vince McMahon was trying to shove him down everybody's throat, and it didn't work. But you cannot deny Roman Reigns is an absolute ratings draw. My number 4 moment is, oh my goodness, he was a dominant heel champion. Again, I might get a lot of flack from this. Some people will say, oh, he never defended the title, blah, 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 blah. But on his title defenses, Roman Reigns was a dominant heel champion. Roman Reigns, dare I say, almost had a Triple H Reign of Terror-esque run. Probably better than that. Probably then kind of like a Ric Flair run where he was a heel champion that would just knock down all the baby faces. Roman Reigns' run lasted 1,300 days. And during those 1,300 days, let's take a look at the list of guys that he was able to put away. He put away Braun Strowman. He put away The Fiend. Rest in peace to Wyndham Rotunda. He put away main event Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Bryan Danielson, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Cesaro, John Cena, Finn Balor twice, Brock Lesnar probably 2 or 3 times, Sami Zayn, Goldberg, Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. I mean, there's a lot of main eventers on there, and there's a lot of Hall of Famers on that list. So regardless of what anybody says, this title reign will go down as one of the greatest ever. And I know a lot of people like to crap on Roman Reigns' wrestling style when he needs to go, especially in his earlier years. This run, he was playing a character, so he wrestled a certain style. He slowed it down. He worked a lot of chin locks, and he told more stories in the ring than using moveset, which if you're going to be the type of heel champion that he was, then that's what you do. But Roman Reigns' title run is the pinnacle of what a heel champion should be. Let's get to the number 3 takeaway from Roman's reign. My number 3 takeaway is the champion of the COVID era. Now, we all know that Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam in 2020. The setup was you had Braun Strowman taking on The Fiend. It was all, was he coming? Was he coming? You know, they had the contract. That's when the reveal came that Roman Reigns was now aligned with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns came out, wrecked everybody, and left. He won the title by defeating The Fiend. This was at SummerSlam, and this started his epic title reign. I will say this, Braun Strowman as a champion could not have carried the company through the COVID years. Say whatever you want to say. As much as we love Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, the man, Wyndham Rotunda as the champion, and I mean no disrespect, but Wyndham Rotunda as the champion during the COVID year could not have carried the company. When Roman Reigns became champion, he forced you to listen to his promos. He was able to do more talking to draw you in. You'd have to listen to what he was saying in the matches. Everything he did, he slowed everything down. Everything he did was almost like Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake knew how to work the crowd. Like you got to imagine when you're in a setting where there's no fans, to be able to work and hone and perfect your craft. Roman Reigns was the champion that the WWE needed. And Roman Reigns, dare I say, was a champion that got WWE through the hardship of the COVID era. There, I said it. My number 2 takeaway from Roman's reign is he elevated other stars. Let me tell you something. You see this picture from War Games. During Roman's reign, you had the elevation of main event Jey Uso, perennial tag team wrestler with his brother. I remember they cut a promo and Jey Uso said, and I was like, man, this is so true. He said, when people talk about me, they just said, which one are you? You, Jimmy or Jay? Like saying how irrelevant he was, just stuck in tag team wrestling. Roman Reigns in that series of matches that Jey Uso and him had elevated Jey Uso to main event status. I watched Jey Uso in person at SmackDown. The guy is a main eventer. See, when people, here's the thing, people, you had to see people in person, and it's something that I do. I love to watch the crowd reaction. I see how people are. Jey Uso is an absolute main eventer. Give him about a year or two, he could probably even be in the world title scene, just with how hot he is and how he got the crowd, into him. And I give a lot of that credit, if not 80% of that credit, to Roman Reigns with that series of matches that they had when Roman told him, if you don't win, you're out of the family. And it's just, what it did? It caused Jey Uso to stop being a clown and get serious, and his mannerisms and his facial expressions. Jimmy Uso still coming along, not so much. To me, he seems more like a lackey, but he does have the potential to break out. But his brother is the star of that group. Speaking of brother, their younger brother, Solo Sikoa, I mean, since he debuted at WrestleMania 39, has been like the henchman of the bloodline, but that's all from Roman. Like he gives off that vibe that at any given time, if he wanted to, he'd take Roman Reigns out. So Roman is never too big for the moment when it comes to him. You know what I mean? So, and let's look at the last person in this group. Sami Zayn was just, I mean, my goodness, Sami Zayn was just floating away on the trash heap. A rudderless ship, just any cliche you could think of. And him joining the bloodline was the best thing ever for his career. His interaction with Jey Uso, his interaction with Jimmy, but mainly his interaction with the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns helped put this guy's career onto the level that it is now. I know people like to crap on their Elimination Chamber match because I'll just say it, they don't know wrestling. They don't know what makes moments. Everybody thinks that everything is about holds. You can listen to a million wrestlers that actually wrestled in the business will tell you that the moves are just half of it. It's about garnering emotion out of the fans, and you do that with your facial expression. You do that with the passions in your promo and things like that. If it wasn't for Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn wouldn't be the scrappy babyface that he is today. Sami Zayn wouldn't have main evented WrestleMania. Sami Zayn wouldn't have been the one to end Gunther's title reign. So a lot of that goes to Roman Reigns, putting him in that position just to, bring out his full potential. Sami Zayn is a fantastic wrestler. Fantastic. I never take anything away from him. But his time in the bloodline is what helped him build that character who he is. And my number one takeaway from Roman's 1,300-day reign is he helped build the biggest babyface in the business. If you watch the WrestleMania 40 press conference, Triple H made it a point to say that we have finally been able to do something that we have not been able to do in a long time. And that's build a baby face that the company really likes. And that is because of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the type of champion that was so dominant, regardless how he wins. He's so dominant, never losing, never being pinned. That you keep building up babyface after babyface. For years, everybody knows that WWE is a babyface territory where Vince McMahon would build up the top babyface and just keep feeding them heels. Whereas when Roman Reigns is on top, he's the top heel, and they keep feeding them babyface in hopes that these guys would get hot enough that the fans would want to see him take the title off of Roman. Cody Rhodes is the biggest babyface in the entire wrestling industry. You can't tell me anybody else is bigger than him. I mean, I know somebody will probably say, well, Ospreay. No, he's not. I mean, at some point, we just got to be honest with ourselves and just call things for what they are. Cody Rhodes is the biggest babyface in wrestling. And a lot of that is because of his feud with Roman. Even though they cooled it off for a little while, they were able to come back to it because it was so hot in the first place. And a lot of that is to Roman Reigns, man. Like, so this 1,300-day reign, I wanted him to lose the title because if they were heading towards him and The Rock, it didn't need the title. And I'm like, okay, I want Cody to be the champion. Hey, I'm a Cody crybaby. I wanted Cody Rhodes to be the champion. But if it wasn't for Roman's actions, Roman's mannerisms over the past 3.5 years, nobody would have gave a damn had Cody beaten him for the belt. It wouldn't have been as emotional as it was. It wouldn't have been like the lead story on everything. I had random person who doesn't watch wrestling send me a message and say, hey, this is on top of everything. What is going on? I turned in and I watched this, and now I want to watch wrestling again. This is the hottest, and wrestling is hot again. And I'm going to say this, Cody Rhodes, I haven't seen a babyface this hot. I can't even remember it. Some people will say Daniel Bryan. I think I hate to sound like I'm agreeing with Vince McMahon, but I think the yes chant was over more than Daniel Bryan was. Daniel Bryan was an awesome face. I love Daniel Bryan. I cried when he won the title at WrestleMania 30. But I think the yes chant was over more. Cody Rhodes is organically a babyface that people want to get behind. He's not stupid. He doesn't act like a dumb babyface, not knowing what the heel is going to do. He can sidestep the heel. He's not, he fights back. He doesn't just sit there and let you just beat up on him. And a lot of that is Roman Reigns, man. So there you have it. My top 5 takeaway from Roman's reign over the past 3.5 years. Fantastic. We need to give the man his flowers, especially that that he still takes medicine for the leukemia. You got to get a man his flowers, man. I know he doesn't work a full schedule, but when you put in the amount of years, hey, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You negotiate your contract, and that's just how I see it. So those are my 5 takeaways from Roman's reign. Stay tuned later for my top 5 takeaway from this Raw after Mania. I don't know which one I'm going to drop first. So if you hear this and one drops before the other, just know they were done on the same day. Until next time, peace.